Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my NieR very hard difficulty video walkthrough. I keep calling it NieR. It's of course NieR Automata, the second game, the sequel. You know what I mean. I'm willing to accept that you're intelligent enough to acknowledge which game this is and which game it is not. This is chapter 8, it's called The Copied City. We're going to go towards the crevice that is at the bottom of this little crater, and we're going to be going towards a boss fight against Adam. NieR is vanished, nowhere to be seen, and we have to find this of our own volition. And they want you to use, I think, a scanner to locate this or something like that. But because I know where it is, luckily thanks to my first playthrough, I'm just going to go straight to it. And there's a new enemy type here, which is the creature that you can see just there. It is a drill worm hybrid that has this glowing weak spot on its body. It could be like a tapeworm or a butt plug, because there's a creature later on that has one of those coming out of its asshole, and I don't want to read too much into it, but yeah, you know, it could be, you know, an android sex toy, I don't know, but that's what it is anyway. It looks like that. It's got wicked phantom range as well, which is not so good when it's in your colon, but the dude doesn't seem to mind. So hit that save point, and then this is your checkpoint. This is your checkpoint, so it's so brutal, guys. Why they think that this is acceptable. This is one of the fixes that they should definitely do. They need to change the checkpoint so that this boss fight has one rather than that save point, because not only do we have to run all the way here, we have to hit an elevator which is just hiding a loading screen which lasts about 10 seconds. Then we enter the Copied City, which is a new area that looks great, but you'll never appreciate it because you're too busy being pissed off at the terrible checkpoint. There's a vignette every time where 2B goes, "Oh, look at this place, it's pretty cool, right?" And then the pod goes, "It is made out of bunnies and fluff and tits and springs." And then you go forwards, and then there's another cutscene, and then you listen to the cutscene, and then you fight a boss, and then you cutscene, boss, cutscene, boss, cutscene, boss, and at any point, if you die, all the way back to that save point, because video games. So what I'm going to do here to try and mitigate this for you folks, if you're anything like me and you see this quite a lot, pick up all the items in this area, listen to all this wonderful narrative, dialogue, exposition, and then go back up that elevator and save. So when you do your run back, if you fail, you'll never have to listen to all that shit again, and you don't have to worry about the items. That's the best way you can do this. Until they put a checkpoint at the beginning of this next boss fight, that's how is probably the most optimum way of doing it, other than just being good enough to not die here. And the fight's not hard. The problem is, it's easy to die, because it's easy to get touched in any game, especially a game where certain fundamentals don't work as they should. So this boss is going to do nothing different except for a couple of cube moves, and the cube moves themselves are actually really interesting. I would have preferred it if all of his moveset was cube based and it was nothing like the other dude. But once you do the cube bit, which is the fun bit, you do a part where he just goes back to what he was doing in that other fight we did, where it's all that weird golden wing grippy bullshit and stupid teleporty ground platformy nonsensical shit, basically. So I can't defend this fight. Not only is it copy-pasted bullshit, but it's uninspired and uninteresting, and it sucks too because this guy's the antagonist, and the antagonist is meant to be evocative, it's meant to be interesting, it's meant to be impactful. Remember Virgil at the top of the tower? You know, impactful. Remember Genshin in the burning pagoda? Impactful. I could rip off a million things. It meant something. This, copy-pasted bullshit, same moveset, nonsense, bad checkpoint, several phases, dialogue you can't skip. That doesn't compare. There's a reason why Virgil didn't talk for 20 minutes before you fought him, because that game is well designed. Like, it just doesn't make sense, guys, it doesn't. But the good news is, you can cheat this boss out completely if you don't want to engage. You can just shoot it with your gun and evade, and just run around for 10 minutes and kill him that way. It's super lame, and it works, so do it if you want to. I'm going to give you an alternative here by showing you some options you can do, and I'm also going to be utilising... where's my body? Over here, thank you kindly, there's my body. Pick that bad boy up, watch all this uncancelable, vulnerable frames, and I can move again. Wonderful mechanic. So this is unskippable, you can't not get to the fight, he does this every time. I now have Shockwave. I'm going to show you the power of Shockwave. This is not Shockwave 6, I think it's Shockwave 3. So this isn't even a strong Shockwave, but it's going to show you what this is capable of doing. It makes your combos go full screen, and it is damage in safety. So I charge this hit just because it's something to do while this dude yaps. Now the boss begins. So this is going to fly towards you quite slowly, You can dodge it, get some overclock if you want to, and then go in there and do some damage. There's his teleport. He's vulnerable after the teleport, so you can do a full combo there if he lets you. If he does anything else, you're in trouble. That move, you can dodge past the blocks before they blow up and you can get close and attack him, but I'm going to stay on mid-range on this encounter because I think it's just better. So I'm doing square into triangle, and I've got a little bit of overclock to ensure that I can do some damage, and then I'm dodging all the attacks because I know the timings of them because I've done this fight a few times. At this phase, I think this is a decent fight because it's different. The moment he starts fighting like the other fella, it becomes boring again because you've seen it before. But all of this, really interesting, really different. I love the cube idea, I love the squares, I love the simplicity of the geometry. Really interesting fight. Super easy to do as well once you know the timings, which is all I'm doing here, guys. Exploiting timings, hitting the boss from full range, doing a lot of damage, having fun. Do you see the iframes he got at the beginning of the teleport? You have to wait for him to reappear before you can hit him there. But just keep striking away, watch what he does, see how he reacts. Then there's that bullshit cutscene. And now, I think he goes to being the... now he's back to what we fought twice. So this is copy-pasted bullshit that's uninteresting. And it's also really hard to punish because he's got a block, he's got a parry, and he gets invincibility for no reason. So, the ground pillars. Whenever he does the ground pillars, you can usually run up to him and do free damage. I recommend doing Mirage because then you're invincible, so if any of the pillars come from below, you don't have to dodge. And then depending on what happens after, depends on what you do. If he blocks, you can't do anything except try and crush his block, which can be very dangerous because he can parry. Or, if it knocks him away, you can try and chain knockbacks and try and hit him and consistently hit him like I'm going to do here. So, wait for him to be vulnerable, and then hit him with the shockwave. There's his 4 blasts. They're going to be quite slow at first, but later on they get faster. There's his teleport to center, and then he just chills around. There's his teleport, and there's him. Look, immediately blocks my attack. Immediately blocks my only opportunity for damage. Completely invincible when I'm trying to riposte. It's like, what's the fucking point? I can't stand iframes, man. They should be only in select animations. They shouldn't be for that long. It's ridiculous. It's unfair, man. It's crazy. Crazy paving. But don't attack this. If you attack the globe, he can do the repelling and kill you instantly. And the trick to dodging the repel is never dodge back where you were, because that's exactly where all those pellets are going to be. But see this? That's it. That's the counter. It's kind of bullshitty. I just don't like this fight. And it's the checkpoint. If there was a checkpoint, I'd have no issue with any of it. But knowing that one hit puts me back so long and I have to watch all those cutscenes and all that bullshit and all that movement, like, it's so frustrating. So we can't do lots of damage here because every time I try and attack him he's blocking, so it's making this way slower than I would like. Then he's completely invincible when I can attack, which is complete bullshit. And then I do get a hit, which is awesome. So there we got some damage, and now I can cash in a bit of damage, and he immediately just armors through it and does a grab. So, you know, it's kind of hell and high water. You get opportunities for damage, he's invincible. You try and do damage in opportunities where you're not quite sure, and he hyper armors through them and kills you instantly. So there's a reason why I would recommend being not necessarily passive here, but don't get too aggressive, because the moment you can't see because of all the effects is the moment you get kicked in the face and the fight is over. It's just how it works, guys. Like, look at that. Why is that not vulnerability? There's no reason he should have all those frames of invincibility. Crazy. And then they start talking because it's coming up towards the second phase of this fight. As you get him to about half life, he gets really crazy and he goes all out, I guess. And it means his attacks are a little bit faster. So here we go. This is the final phase. No checkpoint in any of this. And it begins. And I actually think this one's more fun because now he's a bit more aggressive. It feels like you're fighting, and he's going to come closer and he's going to take more hits because he's less defensive. So that is arguably faster, right? It looks faster. And look, I'm hitting him, finally. Getting chances to attack. What a novelty concept. There's his fucking block, you bitch. This ain't God of War, so get that shit out of here. There's his parry. I said counter and then parry, and I made a word. Carry. There you go. He just did a carry. There's his gunshots. You can always punish after the gunshots because he doesn't have invincibility. And then he blocks! Because he can. Because he's a bitch. Ah, this fight. So much trash. Imagine though, you know, if you come here and you're super leveled and you've got all kinds of really good gear, I reckon you can just embarrass this fella. Do some super full, awesome... Super full, I'm just dropping words here. Super cool, awesome juggles. There's another counter, so be careful of that. He's gone back to center. Here's the pillars. Be careful of the pillar that spawns in front of you because it's the one that always catches you. There's his block again. I think you can crush that block. You can't crush that circular one, but you can crush the other one, the holographic one. That move, did you see that? That's the move that'll kill you if you're going to get hit by something, because it's by the time you've recognised what it is, it's hit you. And it's got one of those hitboxes where it could fucking be anything, and I'd believe you. Like, you see that? Look, where even is he? You don't even know where the boss is. It's that ridiculous. I kind of like the fact that he has a move like that, but I hate the fact that it ruins so many events. Like, so many runs you get, just all the spectacle is lost because you're dead, and he did something that was so fast and so stupid. But just keep on hitting him, keep on attacking him with everything you've got. See those openings, capitalise on them. If you want the fight to go quicker, level up. Get better chips, that's all I can really recommend. I am by no means outfitted to do the most damage, but I'm showing you that you don't need to be by simply using this rather defensive strategy, spacing, evading, and punishing, and not getting greedy. Getting greedy gets you killed. But I love this environment, I love this area, I wish it was way longer. It's like 2 corridors and that's it. I wonder why they decided to make something so interesting like the copied city and then not do anything really with it. And when you think about it, it's not that difficult to make this zone, because it's essentially what the game would look like if the textures were very basic. It's just a lot of vertices and vertex and just simple geometries. And I find it really charming, it's an interesting idea. And it actually has story ramifications, which is cool. But if you've come into this game and you're confused right now, like thinking, why is this taking so long? Why is he taking so many hits? This doesn't look like a lot of fun. This is the RPG aspect of the game showing itself and how ugly it can be. He's only 3 levels higher than me, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for bosses it is. And this is a particular boss where if I get close to this guy, I can do a lot of really good damage, because my damage is not from the guns and the shockwave is too weak at the moment. So my damage is really good up close, which would make this like 1/4 of the time of you watching. But it's also indicative on your ability to fight up close against a boss where one mistake is a reset, and this is a really long fight. So, as much as I would like to show you a super aggressive fight, it's not going to be that way until they fix the game, and they're never going to, because it's designed that way. But watch when I counter him here. There's a counter coming up that ends this fight, and watch how much damage I do. That is in theory how much damage I could do if I engaged more aggressively up close. But when you assess the risk, it's not worth it. And I think this boss is horrible. I think this is one of the worst bosses in the game, and I didn't want to do it again. So I'm going to do this safe strategy because it's arguably the easiest and most efficient way. And if you do more damage than I do, this will be quicker. That simple. If your chips are better, if your character's a higher level, if you're on normal, this will work even better. But on normal, you won't even have to worry. You can just get in his face and rock him anyway. But it is coming, guys. I promise. I remember the ending because I was surprised by how much damage I did. So, there's his counter. There he comes close. I think it's off a counter. I think it comes off a counter launcher. We'll find out in a moment. Is it this? No. Still nothing. Did you see that, by the way? He chased down my Mirage evade by doing that crazy, like, weird light hook of doom. Here he comes with the... Oh, this is it. Watch this. Watch my damage. Not bad. Would have been a lot quicker, but still not as good as I would have liked. But that is it, guys. That's Copied City. That is a shit boss fight with a shit checkpoint. I hope you have no issue with it and enjoy it a lot, because I didn't.